Hello everyone and welcome back to more Cinderella Phenomena, and we are back once again for more Rumpel's route, except this time we are back here to accomplish and get his good ending. Yes, because in the last episode we got his bad ending. Surprise, surprise. Anyways, our bad ending with Rumpel basically ended up concluded with the whole the coup thing. We were Rumpel volunteered to help out at the clinics and at the hospitals where all the soldiers were injured were going to, and we kind of tagged along to help along with him, and we just kind of spent the little cute times, and we had talks about how Hana was in any case of which she was attacked or she needed to fight, which would be the better and effective way to kill somebody. And of course Rumpel was like, oh, I really hope you don't have to do that, but she's just like, it's just a hypothetical. So he's like, okay, fine. So the best way to kill somebody, of course, is to go for the neck, the jugular. So that's obvious. And then afterwards, we continued on to help him at the clinic. Except one night, what happened was that one night, Rumpel was going to head out. We were gonna head back to the Marchen. That same night, Rumpel was helping out at the clinic. Except he had to go back in really quickly to go grab something because he forgot. So we waited outside for him in the clinic. Except we were approached by Varg. Varg, of course, comes up to us. He knows exactly who we are, and he's like, "Come quietly, or else there'll be trouble," kind of thing. He threatened us. And then we're like, no, we're not gonna go quietly. We're gonna go and we're gonna scream. We're gonna cause a fuss. So he had no choice but to knock us out with this, this world's chloroform. And he kidnapped us. He forcefully took us back to the palace. He locked us in our room, and then he had us meet up with Mythos and the rest of the royal family. And we met up with the royal family, of course, and other than Rod, nobody remembers us as being the crown princess. And of course, the king was like, why is she here? And Mythos was like, I'm telling you, she's your daughter. And he was like, I don't believe you because you're a snake. And then we tried to convince him, but it didn't help. Sorry, I'm still a little sick. I'm much better than when I last appeared on this episode, but I'm still having a bit of a dry cough in a way where my throat still itches and I have to cough suddenly. So yeah, I apologize for that, but you won't hear it. It'll just be edited out. Anyways, going back to the last episode. So the king was confused, of course. We tried to help the situation, didn't really turn out that way. And then we were escorted back into our room. But then, as we were trying to escape, Rumpel and Delora and the rest of the gang showed up in their plans to rescue the royal family and to rescue us in turn. So Rumpel gets us out. Delora caused a distraction with Varg, and then we were running, and then we met up with Mythos and his guards as well. The knights that are left in the palace were all under his spell under Mythos, and so they do his every bidding, and he basically mind controls them, and they fight each other. And he gets them to do whatever he wants them to. So Mythos is talking to us, and he was kind of enchanting Rumpel in a way, because Rumpel became tranced in some sort of way. He was really out of it, and that made us take action on ourselves. We grabbed a sword from a fallen knight, and we tried to attack Mythos, but Mythos was one step ahead of us. A knight cornered us, and then of course Rumpel steps in the way before we were stabbed, gets stabbed himself, and he dies in our arms. That's it. So that's our bad ending with Rumpel. Stop. And so yeah, now we're back here in the beginnings of his route to get his good endings. And of course it's gonna be really back and forth in terms of choices, because if anything, I was making my choices throughout his entire route, it was really back and forth. I kept getting them right and I kept getting them wrong. And in the end, it just gave me the bad ending anyways, because I surpassed the limited amount of times I could get wrong answers. So of course, like always, we're gonna go through these choices. I'm going to skip out on the ones that I made correctly, and I'm going to show you guys the ones that I didn't make correctly in order to go through what would happen in terms of dialogue choice. So anyways, yes, so we're back here again, the very beginnings, and I don't know what the context of this situation was, but we had to turn and walk away from him because we're gonna play hard to get. We're not supposed to go along with his every whim and stuff like that. Or maybe he called us over for something. I don't even know. But anyways, or he tried to get our attention, and then we just chose to ignore him. But I think this is the first time I made the right choice. So I think I'm gonna skip out on that. Let's just click on that. Yep, there's a skip button. So I made the right choice here. So I'm gonna skip on to the next question prompt, and then yeah, we'll take it from there. So let's go. Here we are. This is the second choice that I made wrong because I thought it was too harsh of us to slap him when he grabbed our hand and like was going on about he was kind of recalling a memory and he was getting really into it and then he started squeezing our hand really hard, I think. And so we were kind of concerned and I chose to pull my hand away just to like, you know, it's a less harsh way, but I was supposed to slap him. So slap him. Let go of me. Unhand me. Rumpel's eyes crease with worry as he holds tightly to my hand. The sadness in his eyes becomes anxiety, and I see something like fear dancing in his eyes. You really think it was my fault? The look in his eyes is so vacant, almost like he is looking through me. If it is as if he is in some kind of a trance, the way he looks at me makes my skin crawl. His grip on my hand tightens, making me shudder. Rather than slap his hand away, I reach out with my free hand and slap his face. Oh, wow. I stare perplexed at the sudden bafflement on Rumpel's face. Did the slap to the face knock him out of that strange trance? He is even being stranger than normal, and the intensity of the look in his eyes is scaring me. So we're supposed to knock him out of that trance? Really? Really? Like, just slap him? Oh my god. Rumpel stares at me for a few moments, blinking slowly. Oh no, I blanked out. I'm sorry, princess. What just happened to him? The way he was speaking was so strange, almost like he was in some kind of a trance. But I know how people are. They lie and they put on faces. I'm sorry for spacing out. If I invaded your space, then I am sorry. You are apologizing? Rumpel puts a hand on his cheek where I slapped him. Oh man. I think I deserved that. Thanks for getting me out of whatever that was. Oh, wow. We gotta be really rough with him, huh? Oh my god. Okay, whatever. All at once, the sheepish smile breaks into something cheerful again. Yeah. So he's still smiling at me even though I was so curt to him. Okay, there we go. So we can skip out on that now. And we can go on to the next choice. Which is, oh yeah, this is okay. Yeah, okay, I know where the next choice is. So here we are in the next choice that I failed to make correctly because I thought it was the right thing to do. So Rumpel comes back the same day, that same day during that same night. Where we kind of like, we witnessed that whole incident of him recalling his memories in the market with the little boy. And he like freaked out and he sort of like scared us in a bit. So he came up to us again to give us a gift in order to, you know, apologize. And of course, he's after the whole spiel about you should let people spoil you and shit like that. So here it is. He's giving us the chocolate lily gift, and I accepted the gift the first time around. But the guide is saying we're supposed to not accept it, so don't accept the gift. I cannot accept your gift. But princess, my advice, you have no reason to spoil me. Princess, this is what I've been trying to explain to you all day. You don't need a reason to spoil someone. It doesn't always have to be about paying someone back. Oh really? Is that what the next lesson I'm supposed to get from him? Rumpel smiles a little sheepishly. Then he places the bag in my hand and curls my fingers around it. You deserve nice things, princess. You barely know me and yet you still say that? Barely know you. We may not have known each other personally, but that doesn't mean I don't know enough about you. Oh wow. I am giving you this gift because I truly want you to have it. Besides, this is both a thank you and an apology gift. Wow, okay. There we go. That's what happens when we decide to accept the gift. And yeah, so this is weird. This is some kind of weird logic that I can't really follow, but I start to pick up on it later on in the route. But anyways, whatever. That's said and done. Let's move on to the next choice that I know for sure that I didn't make the right choice for. And I'm pretty sure you guys will know in a minute. But yes, here we are, the one choice that I was adamant on not making correctly no matter what. It was where Rumpel was like, I'm gonna teach you how to flirt. Go up to that man and like smile and bat your lashes at him and shit like that. And we decided, we didn't really say anything much, but we went up to the man to give his orders, and then we kind of floundered there for a few seconds, whether or not to decide to take up on Rumpel's advice or not. And we were supposed to, but I was like, I don't want to lead this guy on, it's so weird. But anyways, the right answer here is to attempt to flirt. Get our flirt on. I can feel Rumpel smiling at my back. If this were anyone else but him, I would think it was some kind of prank. But considering this is the way Rumpel acts all the time, maybe he's really trying to help me. Really? I try to recall how he flirted with his customers before. I could not help but notice you were alone, sir. Oh my god, here we go. I'm always alone. My heart is thumping far too loudly in my chest. What kind of things does Rumpel usually say? I don't know. Madam, you are the most beautiful thief I have ever met, for it is you who has stolen my heart and stolen my gaze. Your eyes are more captivating than the stars, my sweet. If I could, I would stare into them forever and lose myself in their majesty. You remind me of a rose with thorns, but thorns are what makes the rose so alluring. All he does is spout complimentary gibberish. I will try to do the same. How is it that you would always be alone when you have such lovely eyes? The customer stares at me baffled. I force myself to continue. Your eyes remind me of the leaves in fall as they flutter beneath the bright gaze of the sun, and... I stop. The words nothing more than a shallow lie makes me feel strangely hollow. I know. The man is just staring at me, but he looks uncomfortable. Still, I do not think he is anywhere near as uncomfortable as I am. Ma'am? I know. Perhaps you would... My voice trails off. I bite my lips so hard I could taste something metallic. The man's expression is a mixture of awe and perplexity. I immediately turn away from him and walk off. My whole face is hot and I can feel anger boiling deep down inside of me. Ah, princess. Yes. Leave me alone. Yes. Well, she tried. I mean, I did it. So, let's see. The next choice I'm going to skip out on is basically apologizing to a niece, which we obviously did, or I obviously did correctly. It's when she was explaining the whole story of what happened when she was working for the quote-unquote rich family, and how she was like, she couldn't prevent the crow from pecking at the dress and ripping the dress. And so in Hana's case, in our case, we thought it was her mistake, but it was actually the bird's mistake, and we, unjustly dismissed her because of that. So we apologized, but she didn't really understand what it meant in that apology, and we never really explained it, but we said sorry anyway. So we're gonna skip out on that because I did it correctly, and we're gonna go on to the next choice, which I have no idea what this is, but we're gonna find out. Okay, here we are. So this is after when we decided to get some air after apologizing to a niece, and we were I don't know, I forgot. No, this wasn't it. He complimented us. I don't know. We decided to go out into the forest to get some time by ourselves, but then Rumpel found us, and he heard about us apologizing to a niece. And then I think he called us like the Ice Princess or something, but he said it in a way where it's like, oh, it's like, Ice Princess where you're so dazzling and you glisten in the sun kind of thing, in a way. Like, it was a much nicer way than what people have been saying about us. But instead of telling him and asking him if he meant it, we're supposed to tell him off. Because we're rude like that. No, we're not rude. We just gotta play hard to get. And I failed to do that, so tell him off. Why did you have to be so dramatic when you gave me that compliment? I was dramatic? Yes. I cross my arms and Rumpel grins at me. I can't help it, princess. I am dramatic by nature. A compliment is, in some ways, a performance. So you did not mean what you said? Nah. No, I did. I swear I did. I was trying to show you how making a person happy could be a good deed. Complimenting a person on appearances is easier than complimenting them on their demeanor. You have to know a person for that. I think he was complimenting us in terms of, like, genuine. I think we pointed out how, like, you always throw compliments at people, but, they're so shallow. But then he turns it around and compliments us on our, like, nature. It's like, oh, you're the most kindest, regal kind of person. Like, he complimented our personality rather than our appearance, and that was his point. So I meant what I said, princess, and I swear that it wasn't just me trying to weave spectacular words together. Earlier, I bet you made a niece happy too. There we go. So, yes. Something along the lines. I'm sorry, I can't really remember the details, but I guess that's the gist of it. Anyways, we're gonna go off and we're gonna... Let's see. Okay, we're gonna skip out on the next choice because I remember this one. It's when he diverted us from walking back to the Marchen, and he made us go take the forest path, and we were like, what's going on? And he's just like trying to cover it up and saying, oh, we're gonna take a scenic path, oh, enjoy the scenery, enjoy nature kind of thing. But then we're like, we thought it was kind of fishy and we didn't want to go along with it, so we stopped walking. And yeah, that's when he explained like, oh, well, it's better to draw attention away from the Marchen so that whoever's following us doesn't find it. And then, it's is best because we're still close to the town in case we do get attacked because there are people there. So yeah, that's it. That's that. We're gonna fast forward. We're gonna skip out on that choice because I made that correctly, and we're gonna go on to the next one after that. Okay, yeah, so here we are. This is the choice that I mistakenly made incorrect. It's when the sick man, much like myself, with a horrible cough, comes in to the merchant because he needed Rumpel's help and he heard about him being a really good doctor and people from the town. And so Rumpel took him up to the room and to tend to him, and he missed out on the entire day of work. And so we're done with work. And we were kind of worried about him and seeing, what's going on. And so we decided to either decide to go back to our room or to go to Rumpel's room. And I said to go back to my room because I didn't want to disturb him. But the right choice here is to go to Rumpel's room. Oh my god. So I think I'll go check on him. Check on Rumpel? Yes. I hadn't realized I was speaking aloud. I look at Karma, who furrows his eyebrows at me slightly. I honestly don't know how you can stand him as a partner. I know. Why do you dislike Rumpel so much? A lot of things, princess. But that fight is between us and doesn't involve you. Then do not involve me. You have no need to comment on us being partners. Ooh. Karma looks at me wide-eyed and a little shocked. Then a sort of knowing comes in his eyes and he smiles just a little bit. Yes, I think you should go visit him, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to get him off your mind, would you? Oh, so this is where Karma picks up on she's crushing on him. He laughs a little before picking up his tray and rushing off to continue his shift. Okay, so I slowly make my way upstairs, my feet feeling heavy. For some reason, I feel that Karma was right. I make my way over to what I think is Rumpel's door, and the door is slightly ajar, and I hear hushed voices on the other side. There we go, yeah. So, there we kind of listened in on what's happening with Anise and Rumpel, and then we figured out that we needed the medicine that would cure this man's illness, but they couldn't afford it. So yeah, let's see. I have no idea if I made the correct choice here, but I'm gonna skip to it and I'm gonna see if I can remember what the context is, and hopefully I did make the right choice, but if not, we're gonna see what it is. Ooh, new dialogue. What happened here? So this is before the preface of Rumpel's and Karma's usual fighting, and this time it's really super serious. But Karma gets in a new jibe that we haven't seen before. So, and you flirt with them and don't even realize the effect it has on other people. Flattery is not a crime. Just yesterday, the princess came to see you in your room, all because you gave her the impression that you liked her. Ooh, so that's what happens when we went to visit Rumpel's room, huh? He's getting us involved. Were you actually spying on her? And you call me uncouth. No, I overheard her say it. And you're wrong. I never say anything if it isn't truthful. Well, then the truth of the matter is that you must be in love with many women. Ooh, because they all seem to think that you'll get down on one knee and propose to them. Wow, you say some sly things, Miss Karma, and yet you're the biggest liar of us all. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna skip on ahead. I think this is a choice. Oh yeah, I did defend Rumpel. I didn't watch from afar. Okay, so we got a bit more choices. I mean, more dialogue, different dialogue because of the whole thing where we let slip that we were gonna go visit Rumpel's room. And yeah, then Karma kind of tried to use it as fodder against Rumpel to defend his case, but no, it's just, yeah. So we defended Rumpel anyways. That's what we did, and yeah. So, let's leave. That leads us to the next choices. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. I think there's 3 choices afterwards, which basically relates into when Bria shows up. So all 3 choices that relate in those instances I made correctly. So just to basically summarize it, just to get the context and the storyline for you guys, so you don't get lost when I next skip on to the next choice that I made wrong. It's when Bria shows up and Bria sort of like brushes us off to the side when she was saying, oh, I can help him now with his curse because, I know him well and blah blah blah, and so we're not needed in a way. But then we spoke up and we were like, hey, we're still his partner, and that's what we said. I said that, and then The next one, I think I forgot what it was, but I think it might. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna skip up into that point and we'll see if this one choice I can't quite remember because I can't remember if it came before or after. But I think this choice might be when we caught Rumpel. We were spying on Rumpel when he met up with Bria, and we after we found out about how Bria cheated on him, and we wanted to, expose her, but we didn't know whether or not it was actually true or if it's just rumors or what's the timing on this. So we were eavesdropping on them by the fountain when they met up at the cafe, and there was that choice where we could step in and tell and expose her right away, or just remain silent and reconsider, telling them right away, jumping in on the scene right away. So yeah, that was that. So the next choice, I'm not too sure on it, so I'm just gonna see, and if it's something that's familiar and that I made the right choice on, then I'll let you guys know. So yeah. Okay, so yes, I was right. So the reconsider choice was the correct answer I made when we didn't interrupt Bria and Rumpel's conversation that time. And this time it's when, this is when we ran out upset because Parfait and Delore told us about our mother, and we didn't know what to think. So we were sensitive, we were upset, and Rumpel came and to find us, and we either could talk to him, which I did, or remain silent. So yeah, that's the right choice, is to remain silent, to not talk to him about our problems and feelings. So my problem, why would he want to know about my problems? I understand what it's like, princess, to have a secret stuck inside of you. To want to keep things to yourself because you're worried that someone will prove you wrong. But you can always talk to me about it. Why are you so interested in my problems? I told you before that the best thing you can do is to listen to a person. That's how you learn to sympathize. Besides, I honestly care about you. I will always listen to you, princess. Aww. Rumpel slowly reaches out to rest his hand on top of mine. Okay, so there we go. That's our thing, where we're supposed to be all antsy, but then we see his kindness and his sincerity and blah 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 and all that good shit. Okay, so the next choice I didn't make correctly for sure, because I remember it. It's when we first got sick. We got the flu and we were feeling really weak, and then Rumpel picked us up in front of everybody and all the jealous women, and then we could either choose to either struggle against him or to just give up and just lean against him because we were just too over it, too sick to really care. But the right choice here is to struggle. So yeah, so we're gonna skip on to that and see what will happen. So here we are, yes, so this is the choice. I guess I'll just have to carry you up myself, but no, we're supposed to struggle against him and show him and the ladies that we're strong and we're independent women. So I cannot just let him carry me up like this. I attempt to move away from him, but my whole body is weak. It is all I can do to try to roll out of his arms, but even that does not work. If you fall, you'll get a bump on your head, you know. I know, right? Not the smartest thing. I am not weak. I do not need anyone taking care of me. There are voices, an indistinct chattering behind him that belongs to the girls. Rumpel speaks in a low voice. Stubborn she may be, but my sweet princess is stronger than any other woman I've ever known. He pulls me closer to him, and I feel his chest at my head. Then his heartbeat. I know you're strong, princess, stronger than anyone else even, but because you are so strong, I know you'll never admit to needing help. That's why I'm going to help you without your permission. I'm sorry. Slowly, I let myself settle in his arms. I lean my head into his chest and listen to his heartbeat. It is a gentle, sweet sound that makes me feeling like drifting into slumber. There we go. So warm. So warm. Anyways, yeah, so there's that. That's what happens when we're supposed to struggle. I should have struggled because I need to put up a front in front of these jealous ladies who think I'm just, a damsel in distress calling for Rumpel's attention. Anyways, so we're going to skip out on the next question or the next prompt because I did it correctly. Okay, we're gonna skip out on the next two choices because the next two choices basically is when Rumpel takes care of us. We're nursed back to health, and he checks up on us again after a day's work just to see. And I think it was when we were questioning him why he was how he became a doctor, and he let us up into his room to show us all of his journal and all the fancy schmancy big words book and his anatomy thing. And then we're like, okay, fine. And then he starts questioning us on like, I don't know. We got embarrassed. I know we got embarrassed, and he was looking deep into our eyes, and then we decided to look away instead of just keep staring at him. And then he's like caught us. He caught on to us, and he's like, "Oh, are you embarrassed?" And we're supposed to do that. And then the next part was when we were talking to Parfait and Delora, I think. And then we were I think Delora was explaining how she was like, I only cursed you because I knew you could do good and stuff like that, and we didn't want you to turn out like your mother and to power the Tenebarium with like such negative energies and shit like that. And then because she complimented us on saying how she knows that we had some good in us, we said thank you, and that was the right thing to do. So yeah, that was the two choices that I did make correctly in those instances. So I gotta skip out onto the choice afterwards. And yeah, we'll see then. So this is the choice that I didn't make correctly. I'm starting to pick, now that we're near the end of the chapters or so, where I'm starting to remember where all the instances that I went wrong. So this is where we snuck off to meet with Bria to get the remaining journals back from her, and everybody was super worried about us because they thought we got kidnapped by the witches. And then we were escorted back to our room, and then we heard from Waltz that Rumpel wasn't back yet from looking for us in town because he had something to do. But then we were super worried about him because he's been gone for so long, and we were like, what the hell's taking him? And we had the choice of either going to leave the room to try to find him, or to stay in the room because, that's the right thing to do. Or so I thought. But the right choice here is to leave the room. Leave the room. So I stand and stop for a few moments before looking at the bag of journals beside my bed. And here I was looking forward to giving those journals to him. I make my way toward the door, turn the knob, and then walk outside. Princess! Oh! Before I can even think about saying anything, I feel his warmth envelop me and I freeze. One of his hands moves to the small of my back, where it remains as he smiles down at me. Oh, I caught you just in time, my feisty sweet. Did you plan on escaping into the dead of night again? Maybe. Have words abandoned you in wake of my dramatic appearance? Yeah. I hurriedly pry myself away with a little gasp. A few steps back, I can see him in full, and I notice the bouquet he carries. Yes, I'm glad to see you're back, Princess. I'm only sorry that I couldn't make it back here any faster. Yes. So there's that. So we're supposed to make it more dramatic and be like, I was going to look for you, but I'll never admit it. Okay, so. Oh yes, and our next choice here was when I sort of screwed that up too, because I thought, again, I can never get a read on him. So we're gonna skip on to that choice. Here we are, this is where we confessed our love. Well, he confesses our love for us. And, he was going on about it this most arduous ways where he's like, I'm being selfish again because I want you and I love you and blah, 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 blah. Actually, no, before he says it right here, that he loves us, we're supposed to finish the sentence for him. Because that's what, love is an open door does, Okay, so yeah, I love you. Yes, I love you. But I'm not. Whether you are Rumpel or Chevalier, you are the same person. You do not need to be a knight or a prince. He accepted me for who I was, and he still does. Mother told me that humans were untrustworthy, but Chevalier smiles at me as he puts a. But anyways, this is all the same dialogue. So Chevalier smiles at me as he puts his other hand on my back and pulls me closer. The smile is so genuine and so gentle, the same smile I have grown to love. And then we kissed. Does that mean I can skip out on the other choices? 1, 2, 3. Okay, yes. So we're gonna skip out on the next 3 choices. There's one more choice that I screwed up on near the end, before the whole thing kind of came to a head. So the next choice that I'm going to skip out on, but I made correctly in my first run, was when the whole reveal of the witch coop and how everyone's volunteering to go and try to save the royal family, and of course we ourselves volunteered. We spoke up about it, and we wanted to help, and of course Rumpel appreciated that because he's like, spoken like a true princess kind of thing. And then the next choice was when we asked him about where or how it is that we can effectively kill somebody, and he was kind of like, he didn't really give us a straight up answer. He kind of asked us a rhetorical, be like, where do you think is the best place to aim? And the choice was either at the neck or in the chest or the heart. And we answered correctly. It was the jugular or the neck. And then the next was afterwards when Varg showed up to kidnap us, and he gave us like the option of whether we should go quietly with him or we should scream for help kind of thing. And I chose to scream for help because we were just right in front of the clinic and the door to the clinic, and so supposedly someone would have heard us. And that's when we caused the ruckus, and that's when Varg pulled the chloroform on us. So the last choice that I didn't make correctly by the end of Rumpel's route, or his ending, was when we met up with the king, and we were supposed, and when Mythos was saying, "Oh, this is your blood daughter, I can't believe you don't recognize her," and the king was like, "Nonsense, I would recognize my own daughter despite being cursed, or her being cursed." And then we turned to, I think he turned the question on us, and we were supposed to say, it was nice to meet you and to play along with, not really knowing the king, but I spoke up and said, yes, I'm the true daughter, I'm the actual princess. But yeah, it didn't go quite as planned, so that wasn't the right answer. So I'm gonna skip on to that choice, and then we can see where a good ending leads there. Oh my god. Yes, so here we are. This is the choice. This is the last of the choice that we can make before the chapter branches on either the good or the bad ending. So we're gonna get our good ending after this, because we're going to make the correct choice here, which is nice to meet you. Yes. There is no point in trying to convince the king of my birthright here and now. I would only confuse him more, and now is not the time or place. I glance at Mythos, who is smiling at me expectantly. Oh. Besides, Mythos must have a reason for insisting on my birthright right now. Most likely he just means to confuse the king more. If that is the case, I will not play into such a petty scheme. Aw. Well, I did. My name is Hana. Thank you for your kindness that one time. Aha. Wow. Rod looks shocked. I scowl at him before turning to look at Mythos. Mythos' smile has twisted into a frown. I feel proud in seeing him caught off guard. Hana, what are you doing here? Gennaro, she is undoubtedly your daughter. That is why she is in the room that you have been taking care of. There, okay, so there we go. We're gonna skip on forward to the chapter 10, and see if we got a different title on that. Chapter 10, Not Like Mother. Okay, great. We are here, chapter 10, our good ending now. So let's see. So this is a point where we meet up with Mythos, and Mythos is just talking about how he recognized Rumpel as being the volunteer for being the doctor at the clinics, and blah 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 blah. He was going on about something, and he was putting Rumpel in a trance somehow. So yeah, so Chevalier, don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. Just look at all these men you cannot save, all these men dying before your eyes. Yes, that's what he was doing. He was basically showing his power and showing how he manipulated and how he's controlling these people, these knights, and he's just basically making them kill each other. And Rumpel, of course, has that dilemma where he expressed before how he, even though despite him being a doctor, he's like, well, I may not be killing people directly, but I am in part of that life and death kind of situation. So yeah, Chevalier, we have to get away from here. How many people have you really saved? In the grand scheme of things, you have no talent. Yeah. That is why you sought help from a witch. Oh no, he's like getting into him. Mind games. Mythos' voice is oddly calm, and I can feel some sort of presence in the air that is different from normal. A knight plunges a sword through another's gut, bleh, causing him to lose his sword. As the sword skitters across the floor, gleaming underneath the moonlight. I look desperately at Chevalier and realize that the magic is already working its way into him. He does not see anyone except for Mythos, who is still smiling at him from behind all the knights. I glance at the sword, remembering what Chevalier taught me. Mythos is unguarded right now, but I have better judgment than that, and I told Chevalier that I was going to steer clear of the burden of taking someone's life. I have a promise to keep. Oh, wow. So we don't act rashly and trying to attack Mythos given the opening, and of course getting Rumpel killed in the process. I gaze up at Chevalier and realize that this was how he looked every time he regained a memory, like he was stuck in his own mind. There's only one thing I can think of to get him out of this trance. I clench my hand into a fist. Slap him! Punch him! Oof! And I punch Chevalier in the face. Damn. You upgraded from like a slap to a punch. Ow. Gods, my face. My cheek meat. Impossible. Chevalier's eyes clear, and when he looks at me, I can tell he's distraught, but his eyes are seeing the present. Sorry, I thought I lost you. I suppose I needed that, didn't I? Chevalier smiles sheepishly. It is fleeting and gone by the time we both turn to Mythos again. Chevalier looks straight past the still fighting knights. If this bothers Chevalier, which it must, he hides it beneath a neutral expression. How did you break my spell? You cannot even use any magic. It's called a punch. She didn't break it with magic. She broke it with the power of love. Oh, so cheesy. I stare at him skeptically. We both know that is not true, and I know Chevalier well enough to know that he does not mean that. But Mythos looks furious. Love, ha! As if some fairy tale love could save you from this predicament. Princess, you're a witch. We feed off negativity, off of chaos and loathing. Love serves us no power. But I can be a witch of love, you know? The possibility is still there. Life is about balance. Hana taught me that. And though I might not be able to uphold a balance of negatives and positives myself, I'm at least going to try. You could try to do the same, right? Maybe look beyond your depressing life and start reaching for something that gives you happiness. Something that won't plummet you back into the same darkness. Well, it's Mythos you're talking to, so I don't know how that advice would help him. Mythos snaps his fingers and the knights all freeze, then they turn to us, swords raised. Well, I do not need to be lectured by some lovesick fool. By all means, cling to your love. I will show you how fragile it is. Witches do not need love. Are you sure? Are you sure you just don't need a hug? Mythos holds out his hands and the knights begin their steady, deadly march toward us. Chevalier takes my hand and pulls me back. But I see my opening in the narrative. Mythos enjoys inflicting pain with his words. And I can do the same. If you do not need love, if you do not need affection, then why are you doing all of this for Mother? Oof, I am not. You are doing it to be recognized. Why? Every student wants to impress their teacher. His words are calm, but there is a desperation in them. Mother was Mythos' teacher, and I had thought he was just reviving her as another witch. But yes, we all know that. And Waltz shares the same teacher, but we didn't really pick up on that. But I did. We all did. Yes. Do you know Mythos? Yeah, it was a long time ago. We both shared the same teacher. Teacher? Wait. Waltz, are you yes, a witch, yeah. Ooh, Waltz was Mother's student. Oh, congratulations! She picked up on that now too! Yay! We love a smart heroine. No, I cannot think about that now, but I can use this to my advantage. Yes. I do not remember Mother's students in the least, but one of them turned out right. Yes. The other did not, and I can see the bitterness in you. It is the same bitterness I held, only yours goes deeper. You will not sway me with your foolish words. Are you sure? The knights begin to rush us. Their run is more of a pathetic shuffle given the harmed state that they are in, but this does not slow them down. We're going to run. But, oh, come on. I wanted to do some, psychological warfare on him. Trust me, princess. I will protect you no matter what happens. Okay. He grasps my hand and we wait. I can see Chevalier's eyes darting around as he searches for an opening. I can feel the pulse of his quickened heartbeat through his hand, and I know he is panicking. Oh! Whoa! Is that Waltz? Waltz, is that you? Suddenly there is a massive luminescent gold wall in front of us. The knights stumble right into it, their swords hitting the bright barrier. Oh, it's Parfait! Are you two okay? Parfait rushes to stand in front of us. Mythos' expression is a cold, angry glare. He measures the situation with critical eyes, and then he turns away and begins to dart down the hall. Ooh, ugh. Oh no, Parfait collapses to one knee, arms still outstretched to maintain the barrier. Oh, Delora appears. She is flustered and bleeding on one arm, but she still stands straight. Wow, Delora, you tough cookie. Delora holds up her hand and summons fire. Put down the shield, Parfait. I have this. Parfait releases the shield and the magic projectiles shoot out at the knights. The two edge the knights back through the hallway, but I can see Parfait growing weaker and weaker by the moment. Parfait takes a deep shuddering breath as she tries to stand. When she falls yet again, Chevalier takes a step forward and looks at her urgently. Oh, Lady Parfait! Don't die on me now. I'm fine, don't fuss. Her breathing is labored, but she still manages to smile. A smile, yeah. I fought in the Great War. This is nothing. She looks at me and Chevalier. You two need to leave. But you're... fine. I just need to gather my energy. Alright. Oh my god. A spell from Delora sends the knight sprawling to the ground after she creates a heavy downpour of rain and that quickly turns into ice. You two keep going. The entrance is clear. I notice the witches that had been standing behind Mythos approach us now. Delora stands at the ready. I can tell that she is hiding a great amount of stress behind her smirk. Parfait slowly gets to her feet. We fight together, Delora. Wow. There's no one I'd rather have fighting by my side, Faye. Oh, you two. Come on, princess. Come on, princess, while we still have an opening. We head around the side. Parfait erects a shield to protect us from any magic that comes our way, and Dolores summons a whirlwind as a distraction. Ow! My foot is grazed by fire magic, causing me to stumble, but I force myself into a limping sprint regardless. This is nothing. Yeah, this is just a flesh wound. At the entrance, I pause in the middle of the room. The main entrance hall is eerily silent. And then I see Mythos edging his way into the knight's... And then I see Mythos edging his way into the king's throne room. He is holding tight to Emmeline. He notices me watching and smiles. Then he disappears into the throne room. Oh no! He has her hostage. We have to follow him. Princess, he has Emmeline. Chevalier's posture and expression are indecisive, but mine are not. I know Mythos is baiting me, but I cannot leave her alone. My gaze moves around the hallway as I search for other knights. The place is empty, but it is not long before we hear footsteps. I tense at the sound, and Chevalier holds tightly to my hand. And then suddenly, as the figure draws nearer, I recognize him, even if he seems a completely different older person. Oh my god, it's Waltz! Yo, you're cursed! Damn, son! You broke your curse! I finally found you. Waltz? Damn, Waltz! You broke your curse, but how? Chevalier stares at him in awe. I now dub you Waltz the Big! Now's not the time! No, now's not the time! There was never a Waltz the Small. Waltz shakes his head. And I broke my curse unexpectedly. I actually found the item I needed while I was searching around. Oh, wow. But I can explain more later. For now, we have to go after Mythos. Do you know where he is? He's in the throne room. Yes. Oh my god. Damn, Waltz looks hella fun. Mythos stands in the middle of the empty throne room holding Emmeline to him. He has his hands around her neck. No sudden moves, you three, or this girl dies. And I do know how much death bothers you. Which, with a start, I realize he is talking to Waltz. All three of us are frozen. Oh, myth. Oh, traitor. Oh my gosh. Why can't you see that Hilda wasn't trying to teach us? She was trying to corrupt us. Silence, traitor. You betrayed her. During the war, you betrayed our own teacher. Betrayed? Oh my. This story runs deep. This history, man. Hilda was corrupted. She cannot be saved. How dare you use her name? Mythos' fingers tighten on Emmeline's throat. I can see the tears running down her face. Her sobbing is quiet, but still it reaches my ears in the silent room. Varg! Varg? Oh my gosh. Varg appears from the darkness as he did before. He smiles at all of us from behind Mythos, eyes glinting mischievously. You didn't finish the job. Well, you were awfully vague when you told me to take care of them. You know, most people would assume that meant entertaining them and offering them refreshments. Oh, obey me. Well, Varg is like, no, I obey no one. Varg turns to us. He draws the sword he used earlier, his smile fading. I think I see something like pain in his eyes, but then I think it might be my imagination. He looks stoic as he moves toward us. I wonder what Varg's backstory is, and maybe we can find a little bit more of his backstory like later on in the last two routes? I hope so. He's quite the mysterious character. When Waltz moves, Mythos' hands tighten over Emmeline's neck and she cries out. Chevalier is watching everything quietly. The concern in his eyes is muted by the urgency. I follow his gaze around the room, wondering what he is searching for. Myth, is it? Myth, is it? You were injured during the Great War. I tended to you once. Ooh, everybody's got history with each other. Stabbed in the stomach. You needed stitches for it. Oh. I feel Mythos' confusion before I see it. For just a few moments, though, his gaze is centered on Chevalier, his eyes probing him for information. No one came for you. Your teacher must have thought you were too weak, that you would die. Whoa! Oh! Ho ho ho! Mythos' hand slides away from Emmeline's neck as he lunges toward Chevalier with a snarl, his expression mad. Oh, the room breaks out into chaos then. I feel the rise of magic beside me as Waltz readies a spell, the tension in Chevalier's body as he prepares to shield me, and lastly, I see Varg zip across the room. Wow, so much happening all at once. Everything goes white. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. When I look up, I see Waltz standing in front of me with a shield. Mythos' hand lies flat against the shield, and I can feel the heat of his magic. Varg lies on the ground beside his fallen sword, unconscious from the impact of magic. Even Chevalier is on his knees. I rush toward the sword at the same moment Waltz pushes Mythos back onto the ground. Then, sword in hand, I stand above Mythos and aim it at his neck. The blade touches his skin without sinking into it. Emmeline is hiding behind the throne, staring out at the scene with shock on her tear-stained face. Will you kill me? No, probably not, 'cause I'm the bigger person. I won't take your life. Mythos' smile is a mere shadow of itself. You saw the soldiers in the clinic today. You saw how close some of them were to death. Did you see the hollow look in his eyes? Did you see the hollow look in their eyes? I have seen that look many times. It is the look of a man who clings desperately to life. Every life is precious, and a life is still a life, whether it's vile or not. It is still a responsibility you have to bear. I know how valuable lives are because I have helped so many people. That desperation is in Mythos' eyes now, a man that clings to life. Nah, you're pathetic. It would be so easy to slice his throat. I have seen so much bloodshed on this night, and it was all caused by Mythos. If I kill him, I can stop all of it. But that would make me no better than Mother, yes. I drop the sword. Mythos actually stops to stare at me in shock. I am not like Mother. I will not kill you for revenge. No sooner have I said the words that I feel a sudden heat at my chest. My hand instinctively reaches up to grab the necklace around my neck. And then there's a bright light, and I got my good deed! Hey! I spared a life. When the light clears, a new source of light catches my eyes. Yeah, shoes! Let's get some shoes. I stop and stare down at my feet, which are in glass slippers that shine so brightly that they even sparkle in the dim light. Yay! Shoes! But I have no time to admire the shoes or the weight that has fallen off my shoulders. I barely recognize that the fairy tale curse has been broken. Emmeline rises from behind the throne and screams. Hana, watch out! What? Mythos has grabbed the sword with his hand, turned it around, and is aiming it at my chest. It hits a barrier. Parfait stands beside me once more, her face devoid of any color. I did not see her rush in here. She takes a step forward as if to shield me. Whoa, out of my way! Mythos draws the sword back and plunges it again at the shield. This time the blade is coated with darkness. It pierces the already flimsy shield. Oh no! She dies! And the blade goes through Parfait's heart. Oh no! Dang it! Somebody died! Last time it was Fritz. Dang it! Parfait! No! Parfait grabs the blade and narrows her eyes at Mythos. I am sorry, Hilda, I did not appreciate you. Something swells inside of me as I stare at Parfait. The sword is impaled in her, and I can see her eyes go glassy. I cannot speak, cannot breathe. Waltz rushes forward with his magic and pins Mythos forcefully to the ground. He raises his hand, but it never comes down in time. A sword strikes past his shoulder right at Mythos' neck. What? Is it Chevalier? Oh my god. When I turn, it is Chevalier that is holding it. His body shakes as tears run down his cheeks. Wow. Mythos holds his neck as Chevalier holds up the blade and throws it behind him. Out of the corner of my eyes, I catch movement that can only be Varg, but I do not care. Oh wow. Lady Parfait, do not move. We can take the sword out. But I see a hopelessness in Chevalier's expression, and I know that whatever wound Parfait took was lethal. And I can see it in his eyes. I can see it in Parfait's. There is no need to fuss. When Parfait falls, Waltz grabs her and puts his hand to the hilt of the sword. Chevalier crumples beside her. He stares at the blood staining her dress with sorrow. I start to cry. Hana, do not regret this. I am proud of you. The room is quiet, even with the newcomers that arrive. The knights and Karma watch the scene from the sidelines, all with grim looks on their faces. Last to arrive is Delora, who sits down beside Parfait with her lips pulled into an uptight frown. Her face is stern, but I can tell it is a mask. Parfait, that look doesn't suit you, Delora. I told you to stay back. Had I not been here in time, the princess would have... Her words fall apart as she begins to cough. Delora leans over her and shakes her head. I'm sorry I didn't come sooner. Everything is as it should be, Delora. Parfait cranes her neck to look up at me. Wipe away your tears, Hana. What you did was a good deed. You spared a man's life. But life is not a fairy tale. Humans are good and bad. No, it isn't. But the fear of death makes a life even more valuable. Oh, this is all very deep. Do not worry, princess. I chose this. Parfait smiles. It is mystifying to see her smile when her body is slowly crumbling away in Waltz's grasp. Parfait's body is what gives out first. Her eyes go next. They remain focused on me, still smiling. Her body begins to glow as her body slowly fades away. Wow. Parfait. Oh no, Parfait! Delora turns away. Even if she is not shedding any tears, it is clear that she is heartbroken. She closes her eyes and releases a shaky sigh. Sweet dreams, my friend. Oh, wow. I do not know how long we all stay in that room, mourning the loss of Parfait. Karma, Jurian, and Garland eventually spread out to search for any remaining danger. At some point, they return with the king and the rest of the family. My reunion with my family is half-hearted. I do not know what to say to people that I hated only months ago. Despite the quiet, they all take me in with open arms, yeah. The king stays by my side long after the others have left. Karma and the knights return to the marchant to tell the others the news. Waltz goes to search the palace for any remaining resistance. Only Delora, Chevalier, and the king and I remain. Chevalier cries. I have never seen him cry before, but his heartbreak is my own. Aw. What happened was a nightmare, but it eventually ended. Last night, Varg escaped the throne room. No one saw where he disappeared to in all the chaos. I am beginning to believe that his faint was a trick. Since the night had left everyone so tired, we were offered rooms in the palace. I came to my room with Chevalier, where the two of us attempted to comfort each other with words. Chevalier was especially shaken. Being the one to kill Mythos, he was in tears for a long time. Oh, my sweet boy. I am pretty sure that I must have fallen asleep sometime when we were talking, but I am lying in my bed underneath my covers, and though I think for a few moments that it must be a figment of my imagination, it is not. Aw, look at my sleeping prince. Chevalier is definitely lying right next to me, sleeping beneath those same covers. How did this happen? I put off the recollection of the previous day to stare at Chevalier's face. His glasses are off, and without them, his face seems strangely empty. He looks vulnerable, almost like a child, except his features are too handsome for that. I know, right? Like, he's a very handsome lad. Ugh, what am I thinking? I slowly put my hand to his cheek and flinch when his eyebrows crease. Oh, wow. He has very beautiful eyes. Moments later, his eyes open. They are foggy this early in the morning. What is this? Have I been woken by my princess? Usually it is the princess to wake their princess. Usually it is the princes that wake their princesses. Oh, I will always wonder how he manages to keep smiling like this. Even when he is in pain, he forces a smile. But you are no prince, and I am not some damsel princess. Chevalier closes his eyes again and sighs. There is only one way to break the spell of sleep. Ah, no, you're gonna make me kiss you. You sap, you. I flush as his lips curl into a mischievous smile. Still, his eyes do not open. I think about what happened last night. Parfait and Mythos' death, Varg's escape, everyone else's heartbreak. Before I have to relieve the burden, I can afford to lose myself in some happiness. I lean forward to kiss his smile. I break away from Chevalier, startled. Princess? Oh, Waltz. How distressing. Waltz the Big ruins everything. Waltz the Big. I quickly slip out of bed and Chevalier sits up and puts on his glasses with a yawn. Good morning, Princess, and his eyes widen when he sees Chevalier. Are you so tired that words have abandoned you, Waltz? No, I wanted to see if the princess was doing okay, if you were both alright, actually. He pauses to look at us, his eyebrows furrowed in thought. Though I can't imagine just how tongue-tied you must be, you should speak if you have something to say. Waltz sighs. I didn't want to bring this up so soon, but it's been on my mind the whole night. What? It's just... You didn't have to kill Myth. That was my job. Your job? I doubt that. Besides, I didn't want to kill him. It was... a reaction. The room goes silent for a few moments as Chevalier stares down at the floor. He told me before that lives were valuable. That is why I tried to save Mythos, but in the end, my sparing his life forced Chevalier to carry the burden of his death. He has already told me that it is not my fault. Parfait said that what I did was a good deed, but still. Killing Mythos saved us more casualties. I hope I can convince Chevalier of that. Most likely, he will wrestle with that guilt for a long time. I turn my attention back to Waltz and will the questions to the back of my mind for the time being. Waltz, there are questions I need to ask you. About how he broke his curse, about Mother being his teacher, about Mythos. There is so much to ask him that I do not even know where to start. We have plenty of time for explanations now, Princess. Okay, after your birthday, Delora and I will pick up your magic education, but for now, you should rest. I'll give you the full story of my apprenticeship and curse another day. But Princess Chevalier, I just thought I'd let you know that when Parfait came into this battle, she expected to die. She told all of us that while we were sitting around trying to plot a rescue plan. Yeah, she told us all of that while we were sitting around trying to plot a rescue plan. I glance at Chevalier, who nods quietly. Was it because of her frailty after the Great War, or did Parfait somehow have a feeling? Maybe both. Oh, and also... what? Congratulations on breaking your curse, Princess. Oh, yes, thank you. Chevalier sits up straight, his eyes narrowed behind his glasses. Waltz, I was surprised you Waltz, I was supposed to congratulate her first. Chevalier stands and kisses me promptly on the cheek. My cheeks flush, and even Waltz looks embarrassed. Congratulations, my sweet. It was all very dramatic when your curse broke. There was this bright light, and I know. Wait. Why was there no bright light when I broke my curse? Because... Both Waltz and I burst into laughter. Chevalier just sighs dramatically. He leans against my shoulder, and I do not protest. I have a feeling that getting through the memory of last night might be easier with him here. If anyone can put a smile on my face, it is Chevalier. We hope to see you again at the Marchen soon, Princess. I will be back. After all, I have friends there. See? Did I speak falsely? No, of course not. It's the truth. Anyway, I need to get going. I've explained what happened to your father, but you should talk with him privately soon. After everything that happened last night, speaking to the king is the last thing on my mind, but I suppose it must be done. Thank you, Waltz. And you, Chevalier, might want to ask for a guest room. Haha, but no bed is as comfy as the princess's. I nudge him without realizing it, but Chevalier just laughs. We promise Waltz that we will see him and everyone else in the Marchen soon. Afterwards, Waltz hurries out and shuts the door. My eyes go to the edge of my bed, where something shiny catches my eyes. What? Oh yes! Oh, we still got the glass slippers! The glass slippers are a reminder of everything that happened yesterday. Of the fact that life goes beyond just black and white, good and evil are subjective. In the end, life is... gray, Mother. Both good and bad, but even so, even though fairy tale endings cannot exist, I still want to live my life with everyone else. Mythos centered his life around a single person. He was selfish. I will become someone better than him. Thinking about Mythos makes me remember something. Chevalier, yesterday you said that you took care of Mythos during the Great War. That no one came for him. Was that true? I don't know, Hana. He acted like it was, though, wasn't it? So you never knew Mythos? No, I didn't know him at all. Wow, that was a pretty... I don't know if I would have been able to strike him down if I did. I don't know what burden he carried, but it seemed heavy. I only guessed at what I could say to distract him. I'd heard rumors of a strong witch that went abandoned for many years. Oh, okay. That may have been him. It might not have been. Oh, wow. That's very quick thinking of you. Damn. So deception exists in everyone, but it is not entirely what Mother said it was. Yes. What a smart man you are. Quick thinking. My birthday is tomorrow. I sit in the throne room speaking to my father, who has listened to my tale with patience. When it is over, he looks at me sadly. I owe you an apology, Hana. This whole time you had been on your own, and I could not do a thing for you. You can now, starting first by explaining what happened between you and Mother. You knew she was a witch. Oh yes, please, more pieces of the puzzles. I did. You did too, before she forcefully erased your memories. I tried reaching out to you many times when you were a child, but my efforts were met with resistance. Still, I cannot excuse myself for what I have done. I truly abandoned you, and I am sorry for that, Hana. I will explain the story to you if you give me time. For now, I would very much like to mend my bond with you. Oh, okay. To be honest, the king still angers me. He only apologizes now, after all this has come to light. Whether or not I was difficult to speak to, he still had an obligation to seek me out. He is still late to care, but he is still my father, and I can forgive him. I can learn to trust him again. It will take time, but I would like to mend our bond. I would also like to try speaking with Emmeline, Rod, and Ophelia, but that will take time. The king smiles at me. It is one of the first honest smiles I have seen from him in years. We have time, all the time in the world, and we will mend our family bond, I promise. As I turn to leave the room, the king calls out to me. Hana, I am proud of you, more proud than any other father in the realm could ever be of his child. Aw, thank you. After what happened, we searched for Fritz, but he has vanished. Oh my god. Mythos and Varg had said that they had replaced him, but they never said anything about what had happened to him. We searched endlessly, but to no avail. All I can hope is that he is safe and that I will reunite with him again in the future. Oh, Waltz's performance today was amazing. Don't you agree, Mr. Chevalier? Ah, I agree. You ladies looked especially charming with so many lilies floating around you. Oh my. He always speaks like that. Do not mind him. It has been a whole month since the events at the palace. My birthday has come and gone. Now my life begins. I have been practicing magic with Waltz and Delora, attempting to bond with my family and visiting the Marchen when time allows me to. Anise was overjoyed to see me visiting often. Since Chevalier operates from there as a doctor, I visit often. Mostly, though, he clings to me like a leech. Oftentimes I find him in my bed when I could have sworn he was sleeping in another room for the night. Hey now, you sneaky mister. Sometimes at night he has nightmares, of blood on his hands and of Mythos' death. Aw, poor thing. And at those times I am glad to be sitting right beside him, so I can promise him that things are alright. As for the fairy tale curse, I have no idea how Hana puts up with you. Rod's voice comes out from between his lips. Now he can actually speak. Ah, nice. Since the fairy tale curse was tied to Mother's still living soul in the crystal, her disappearance and my taking her place immediately caused the root to vanish. I have been working for days to break everyone's fairy tale curses with magic, and when I am done, no one in this kingdom will have to suffer from it ever again. And now the Marchen is not just a place reserved for the cursed, now it is open to the public. Aww. Hana enjoys it though. She finds my poetic weavings to be the best in the kingdom. What he means to say is that I can only put up with them because of our relationship. Loving someone so much you can put up with their nonsensical poetry. I thought you were the nice one, Princess Emmeline. No, she has a point. Emmeline focuses her attention on a musician standing off in the distance. She points excitedly, then rushes after them, pulling her brother with her. Her guards follow. Ever since the incident at the palace, we have had more security. I do not blame the king, though it can be tiring at times. Luckily, he is more lax with me. When I told him Chevalier was going to be with me, he settled having Emmeline and I share guards. And so I get to be alone with Chevalier often. Ooh, how romantic! Father was wary of him at first, until he found out he was a renowned doctor. Now he and Chevalier get on well enough. Chevalier takes a step closer to me, and I place my hands around his arm. Ah, so cute! I am no prince, nor am I a knight in shining armor. I am just a doctor who has been blessed with the most beautiful woman in this world. Chevalier begins to lead me through the town again. He is one of the only constants in my ever-changing life. He is the one that will always make me smile, and we share a burden, the burden of a friend's death. He is more burdened with nightmares than I am, and while I wish I could do more to help, I can at least listen to him, just like he listens to me. No matter the burden, it can be overcome. Hana? Yes? I love you more than anything in this world. Ah, you. I love you too, you big ol' sap, you. We share one kiss, ignoring the spectators in the town with a shared smile. Then we follow after Emmeline. Ah, so cute! So cute! Anyways, there we go, a good ending! Yay! Everything worked out except again, someone died! Someone had to die! It's so sad! Aw. Man, I guess in a way it's like... yeah, in a way it makes the story a little bit more rich in a sense because we can always have our happy ending where everybody lives and everything works out fine. But, you know, given the situation and given the circumstances that the characters were placed in, like, it's no surprise that there will be casualties on both ends. Like, it's not always the bad guys that have to end up dying. It's also the reality of that there will be losses of, you know, from our side as well, like close friends and like, you know, the good people too. So it makes everything more realistic in the world building. So I appreciate that. It's sad, it's unfortunate, but like in a way it adds to the story and it adds to that element where it's like, you know, if this was a real life situation, just like, you know, in the story, then this is what would happen. Not everybody can get away scotch free kind of thing. So yeah, that was, at least, you know, it's how it is. It's how it is. Yay! A spool of gold is our achievement for a good ending, and there we have it. We have Rumpel or Chevalier as our badge in our routes, and that leaves us with just 2 more routes to go, you guys. Oh my god, we are just almost there at the end of this game. I cannot believe it. Anyways, guys, I think I still reaffirm my initial thought of like Karma may be like a character that really has charmed me, but in the end, I think Chevalier or Rumpel's story and as well a piece of his character has charmed me as well. It was a very like well-rounded, thought-out like sort of story, I find, because, you know, throughout the entire time the story has kept me guessing, has kept me like, you know, thinking and really trying to work out what would happen next. And even then it's like, you know, things happen and it just still catches me off guard, which is amazing. So yes, I really do appreciate the storytelling that the writers have managed to create so far for all these different character routes, even though they do take place within the same kind of universe, kind of almost follows the same formula. But the formula still changes in a way where it's like, you know, that switch up where the whole coup d'etat, instead of Outcaster winning out in that one time in Karma's route, this time in Chevalier's route, it's the witches that won out this time, which is Sir Mythos' side. So it makes me, you know, highly anticipate, you know, how the rest of the stories would play out. So in terms of Fritz and Waltz that we have left. So yes, yay! This game has so far not disappointed me. Like, it has, even though the routes have been a little difficult, but that's the thing, that's the charm of it, is where, you know, you nearly need, the game makes you really think about the choices that you need to make for these characters' route. It's not just super obvious where it's like you can easily enough get the good endings or the bad endings. Well, it's easy to get the bad endings actually, because yeah, but in terms of the good ending, like, it makes you work for that good ending, and so far, like, I have not been successful, but I can't be too mad at it, because again, the choices, the prompts really kind of make you think the characters through and the situation. So it's like, oh, so Rumpel is sort of this sort of character and this way, and so far this has been working out. Maybe perhaps if we said this, and this will give us points and crystals for him. And yeah, so I like that. I appreciate that. So again, the next character in that sort of sense, the next character route that we'll be doing is Fritz. Oh my god, our mysterious, like, or our personal knight, the one guy who like we've seen so much from the beginnings of the story in the common route, but then he just completely disappears off the map with the rest of the other characters route. But now we can finally get into his story personally and see what the hell happened to him. So I'm super excited to see how that would play out. He's a total complete mystery. We haven't seen much of him again. He dies in one of the routes, so I'm just like, oh my god, what would happen then? So yeah, I can't wait for that. Tune into the next episode of Cinderella Phenomenon. We are far from done from this game. And look forward to the next route, which is Fritz. So until then, guys, bye!